Good afternoon everyone. Welcome to Tekla Studies. First of all, let me thank you all for joining today's online session. My name is Kiran Jose and I'm a technical consultant at Trimble Solutions Middle East. Today, I would like to cast some lights on the new features and improvements for Tekla Structures version 2021, especially for the concrete segment. So here is an overview of the topics which we are going to focus for the next 20 minutes. So let me start with the usability improvements. Under this topic, there are several new features which make Tekla Structures easy to use and learn. The first one is the move and copy preview. The move and copy preview helps the users to see dynamically the results of the command, and it makes modeling much more easier and productive as there is no need for a second guess. So here in this short video you can see how move preview helps the users to determine the correct position of the embed and thus resolving the clash with the reinforcement. And also here is another example where the copy preview helps the users to see what all objects are copied to the next level, as you can see here. And new convenient shortcuts have been added to control the position of the parts, that is the offset and the rotation. So this video gives a small preview of how it works in practice. So using the Alt key and arrows in your keyboard, you can control the offsets of the part. And same way, here you can see the Alt and up and arrow, you can control the slab position. Now I can rotate the part along its handles using Alt plus space, as you can see here. Split command in Tekla has been revamped in the latest version. So now it works seamlessly with slab. And you can split the slab along a line or a polygonal line. So let's watch it in action. So for splitting the slab, you can use the split option from the edit ribbon and define the polygonal points for the split, as you can see here. And if you see, this preview is almost similar to the port break, and now the slab has been split into two different individual slabs. The performance of Tekla Structures has been improved in different aspects, and one of the main highlight for this is the port performance improvement. So if you compare the port performance in Tekla version 2020 and 2021, for the same slab, applying a port break is almost 4 times faster in the latest version, and there is also significant improvement in the time for port calculation, as you can see here. And if you are trying to copy a port break for a port unit which is having multiple port breaks, you can see it is also a lot faster. Let's now turn to improvements in rebar sets. A new option called follow edge option has been introduced in rebar sets. So with the new follow edge option, the rebar set guidelines as well as the modifiers will follow the concrete edge explicitly, and thus orienting all the reinforcement based on this concrete geometry. So how it works in the previous version is that we need to select the rebar set and to pick multiple points in order to orient the rebar set for this concrete geometry, for instance. Now in the latest version, so before creating the reinforcement itself, we can just click on follow edge option, and now you can just pick 2 points, that is the start and end, and the reinforcement will be oriented to this curved geometry based on the start and end point, as you can see here. And here is the guideline which is following this curved wall edge. And as I mentioned in the previous slide, it's not restricted to guidelines. It is applicable also for the end detail modifiers as well, that is the rebar set modifier. So here I'm just going to click on follow edge option, picking start and end point here, and you can see the end detail modifier has been applied to all reinforcement along this concrete curve. A new exclusive ribbon tab has been added for reinforcement modeling and related tools. And here you can see the rebar shape manager, the coupler tools can be easily accessed directly from the selection ribbon itself. A new rebar settings have been introduced for automatic grouping of tapered curves and similar bars so that they belong to the same rebar group. And it is also possible to use the index numbers or the sub-IDs for the tapered curve with letters, and these settings can be availed directly from the advanced option. In previous versions, at some instances, normally in the tapered locations, some leg faces which belongs to the same rebar sets were not connected, as you can see here. And this mainly happens due to a small gap between these two leg faces. Now in the latest version, we have a new settings called as leg face connection tolerance. So this can be set directly from the rebar set UDAs. So based on this set tolerance, and if this gap is within this tolerance, then the rebar set will automatically connect them together, as you can see here. Now boost your detailing speed with the batch editor. So you might be wondering when to use this batch editor. For a typical structure, there will be a lot of elements which are repetitive, and aim of the batch editor is to minimize the time spent on these structures. So there are actually two phases in a project where you can benefit out of the batch editor. The first one is when you elevate your model from the conceptual to detailing stage, where you can quickly detail all repetitive elements with just one instance. And also another one is when you are managing changes, where you have already detailed structure and you can manage all the changes to all the repetitive element with no extra effort. So here is an example for elevating the model from conceptual detailing stage, where all the connections, details, components, component edits, manual edits, all you can copy to a similar columns using the batch editor. So let me launch this example. So I'm going to launch the batch editor here and then going to select a column. As you can see, the tool will automatically list out all the similar columns, and if you wish to unselect some of the columns, you can do so like in this manner. And then going to apply a corbel connection. Here you can see I've applied one corbel connection to this column, and using the batch editor I can easily copy to these similar columns, as you can see here. Same applies to the reinforcement component as well. The reinforcement component has been copied. Now if I'm making some changes here to the component, making some component edit here, and these changes also can be transferred similar way to the remaining columns, as you can see here. See how quickly I was able to detail all these structures using the batch editor. And now here is an example for managing changes. So here I have already detailed cast in place beam, and you can see the top reinforcement as well as the bottom reinforcement are clashing here with the crossing beam. And now I will use an end detail modifier with a crank settings to resolve this clash. So I'm going to apply it to the top reinforcement as well as the bottom reinforcement. And to make more changes, I will apply one splitter to the top reinforcement exactly at the middle. So as you can see here. Once these changes are done, I will launch the batch editor and copy all these changes to the adjacent beams, which are very similar. So I will select the beam and click on select, and here you can see the tool have automatically listed out the similar beams, and just clicking copy, it will update all these changes to the similar adjacent beams, as you can see here. So very quickly I was able to update all those changes to the adjacent crossing beams. Now let's deep dive into some of the top extensions for concrete. So modeling of stair has never been easier. So with the new concrete stair tool, you can easily model straight flight, L-shaped stairs, U-shaped stair, and spiral stair. The intuitive creation method and editing using the direct modification gives the users very easy to use feeling. So here is a short preview of the tool, so where I'll be creating a U-shaped stair as well as a spiral stair. So I'm going to launch the tool from the applications and components. So here you go, I've launched it, and from the contextual toolbar I will choose the type of stair I need to create and the line position. Now I will pick 4 points to define the distribution for the U-shaped stair, as you can see here, and it will also show a preview. And once created, using the direct modification, I can easily update the height of the stair like this way. And from the contextual toolbar, I can adjust the stair distribution, the turning path, with or without platform, single or multiple platform. All of these I can quickly select from the contextual toolbar. And again, the stair width, rise height, thread, everything I can edit it using the direct modification. See how quickly I was able to create this U-shaped stair. And now let's look at the spiral stair. Coming to the contextual toolbar, this time I will select the spiral, the line position for it, and then picking the center, radius, height for the stair, and here you go, the spiral stair, and very easily you can modify the stair width, height, etc. as I shown in the previous example. Now let's look at the fit object extension. The fit object extension basically fills a gap which was missing in our core modeling tools. The normal fit command did a good job fitting normal beams and columns, but it was lacking while trying to connect wall to slab, for example. So here we will see the new extension, how it will fit the wall to the slab which is sloping in two directions. So notice that the tool not only need to fit a side but also need to add an extra material so that it becomes connected to the wall. So once applied, it will create the fit. Notice that it creates the extra material which can be added to the rest of the structure, and now if I move the slab downwards, still it will ensure that it is stay connected, and the same thing applies even if I make some modification to the wall as well. And the tool not only gives the users the option to create automatic fitting, but also gives the option to choose whether we need the fit or not, as you can see here. The tool is versatile. It is capable of fitting different objects of different materials, and it is especially useful while trying to fit verticals to complex objects like a sloping slab, as you can see in this case, where it tries to fit to different contours of the slab, as you can see here. Now let's look at the new list manager. For those of you who have used Tekla Structures for a while, very well know that the reporting tool in Tekla is very powerful and easy to use. However, it lacked the concept of revision handling and managing model changes. So with the new list manager, you have an efficient tool to track model changes, and also it supports revision handling and issuing, and you can easily generate the report and also preserve the report intact at each revision. So now let's look at an example. So here we will use the list manager to create the rebar schedule. So how list manager it works is that we need to basically create a list of objects. For creating this list, we can use selection filter or making direct selection from the model itself. So here in this example, I'm going to use a selection filter. I'm going to give the name as foundation here. Now to narrow down to the exact objects which I'm targeting, I can use this hand toggles and then click OK. And here I have my first list, as you can see here, with the reinforcement and cast units here. And to this list, I can assign multiple reports. For instance, one BPS in the PDF and the Excel format. And then I can just click on report so that I will be able to generate the report in the PDF and Excel format. So here you go, the one in the PDF format, as you can see here, and the other one in the Excel format. Now I'm going to create one more list. So this time I'm going to use a different creation method. So here I will make a window selection in the model, targeting all the columns in the ground floor. So you can see here, making a window selection so that I will be able to select the concrete parts along with its reinforcement. And now I'm going to give the list name as column, and here I'm not going to use any standard filters. I'm just leaving it at standard itself, and here I have my second list. Same way I can assign report to this list as well. So I'll go to the reports here and selecting multiple reports, one in the PDF and the Excel format, as you can see here, and then I can just click on report to generate the report for the second list. As you can see here, the column list is here. Now before I just click on issue the report for submission, I am going to make some model changes and see how these changes will affect this list. So for that, I'm going to make this foundation a bit deeper and also making the strip footing a bit wider, as you can see here. And then I'm also going to delete some reinforcement, that is the side face bar. I'm going to delete it from here, from the either side, as you can see here. Now the next step is I'm going to do the numbering. So the numbering can be done from the model or directly from the tool itself. And once after the numbering is done, the list will be updated, and here you can see the changes which have happened during this changes. And now to this list I can assign a new revision mark, like for instance revision A. And if I just click again on report, you can see the new list report at revision A for the foundation, as you can see here. Now I can select reports for the issuing. So for that I can select multiple list here. So I'm going to select the foundation list and the column list here, and then click on issue. Once that is selected, it will just create a new folder for issuing, and it will contain all the reports with the latest revisions, as you can see here. Now the best feature of list manager is that it will store this list data to the parts and reinforcement. So if you check some of the reinforcement here and check its properties here, so for that I'm going to use the organizer. So here you can see the list information embedded into it. So this gives a permanent trace for tracking. And also you can use these custom attributes in case if you want to export this list information in the IFC, and also you can use this custom attributes in the BBS schedule as well. Moving on, let's look at the improvements for precast. The floor layout tool is one of the commonly used tools for precast flooring. Now it is possible to lock a selected seam, meaning the slab distribution is not changed over that lock. So it gives a better control when you are trying to finalize your optimal slab distribution for a certain area. So in this video you can see how the slab distribution behaves when there is no lock. As you can see here, everything is moving. Now you can select a specific seam point like here and then click on lock seam, so that when you try to change the slab distribution in one area, it is not going over that lock. The same applies to this area as well. Another improvement is for splitting the floor layout. So it becomes handy when you design progresses and you wish to have different slab distribution or slab properties at different area. So you can split from a seam point or break line. So you can split into two separate components. So here you can see what happens when to the slab distribution when there is no split. Everything is moving. And now you can select one seam and then click on split, so that it will be split into two separate components, as you can see here. One on the right and other on the left. And the same way I can split it from the break line as well. Select the break line and click on split. Two separate components will be formed. And whenever you split, new global unique identifiers are assigned to these objects. So please take care about that one. Now let's look at the drawing enhancements. The dimension associativity has been improved in two different ways. First is that the dimension can be binded to the right object upon creation itself, and also the associated information which you wish to show in the dimension is showing from the content to which it is binded. And this gives you a better result in cloning and updating and making the use of tag dimension very easy. So here I'm going to create a dimension without binding, as you can see here, and now it shows information from the cut part as well as from the tube, which is not our desired output. So now if I'm going to turn on the dimension associativity settings here, and now upon creation itself I would be able to tag it to the right objects upon creation itself, as you can see here, and then you can see it shows the right object at the first time itself. And you might have encountered situations where for just one drawing you would like to update a template or move a template, like for a bill of material and general drawing. So in our latest version, you can select a template and click on exclude from drawing layout, and this way you can move it to a different location where it better fit, and thus making the drawing arrangement much faster. So here is an example. So now I'm going to open this particular layout in the layout editor, and in the normal way I'm going to add a new table to this layout, and this the new table I'm going to position it on the bottom right corner and going to save it to the main layout here. And as expected, if you check any of the drawings which uses the same layout, it will be updated, as you can see here. Now moving to the first drawing which I've opened first. Here if you see, the plan view is actually clashing with the template, as you can see on the top. Now I will be using the new feature, so for that I will just right click on this template and select exclude template from layout, and this way I can move it to a location where it is not clashing. And please note that this change is happening only for this current drawing, and if I open in the layout editor, you will be able to see that in the side pane this particular table has been listed with a bracket indicating that this setting is only valid for this current drawing. And again, I can add a new template here, and it also comes with bracket indicating that this setting is only valid for this current drawing. And now if I just save and close, here in this one you can see the changes. And now if I check another drawing which uses the same layout, you can see those changes are not updated here. So this way you can reduce the number of standard layout used in a project. Coming to the last topic of this presentation is the new addition to the temporary works modeling, that is the new scaffolding modeling extensions. So these are actually a set of modeling tools in the same way as that of the former placing tools is used for creating shoring systems as well as the scaffolding systems. And with these tools you can create your own customized scaffolding systems, and also you can use the generic systems like frame shoring, ring lock system and cup lock system, and the configuration files, it is available in the Tekla warehouse. Alright, there are many more features and functionalities which is added, improved and accessible with Tekla Structures 2021. So please take a moment and review the release notes to learn more. And thank you all for listening, and have a wonderful day ahead.